Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and I rarely get excited about products anymore, but I was excited when I heard about the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Elite, despite the massive price tag, because these are £600 sterling or $600 or 600 whatevers in whatever region you're in, probably, because they're very expensive and probably enough to put a lot of people off, maybe even make you stop watching the video immediately. This is not my review, though. I'm going to do a separate in-depth review going over all the little details, the features, the specifications, what the experience has been like, and more. But here I want to talk to you about the initial impressions and some of the things that I really love about this headset and some of the reasons why it might be worth your money, especially if you're a SteelSeries fan, which I am in some ways, because the Nova Pro Wireless has been my favorite headset for quite some time. I've talked about why in previous videos, but if you've not watched those, it's the range of features, the convenience of it, the logic of the battery system, the ANC, and all the other things that I'm going to talk about here. And the Arctis Nova Elite basically takes all those things and improves them even further to make for an even better headset, and one that probably has the crown for being the best gaming headset around, but obviously with that massive caveat of the headset being massively expensive. I thought it was worth talking about that and my experiences with it. Now, this is actually sort of the cream of the crop of a long line of good headsets from SteelSeries, because a long time ago, quite a few years ago now, I was a big fan of the Arctis Pro Wireless, which came before the Nova Pro Wireless, which was a really good headset, and it was the cream of the crop of their headsets back then, the flagship of the SteelSeries headsets. And then they came out with the Nova line, and then it was the Nova Pro Wireless that was then the flagship, and now this, which is basically not replacing the Nova Pro Wireless, but it's a step up from it in terms of being the audiophile grade version of that headset. For some time, I actually thought the Astro 50 was the superior headset, even better than the Arctis Pro Wireless in terms of comfort and other things, but actually now I think Nova Pro Wireless is better than that, and I want to get into why, and then why the Nova Elites are superior. One of the main reasons why this headset is epic is because of the high-res audio option. So SteelSeries has worked on improving the drivers for this. This has 40mm carbon drivers in it. So these are a two-piece design, which is designed to improve the bass surround sound experience. Has 3D spatial audio, Tempest 3D, Sonic spatial audio, SteelSeries Sonar, DTS headphone, and Dolby Atmos options. But importantly, it also works with 96 kilohertz 24-bit high-res audio, and that's the important takeaway from that, which is one of those things that's very difficult to do justice when talking about. But I first experienced high-res audio with gaming, funnily enough, with a SteelSeries headset, and that was a good few years ago, and that was with the Arctis headset that was the Arctis Plus Game DAC. Can't remember the exact name. I think it might be Arctis Pro Plus Game DAC, so it was before the Nova lineup of headsets. It was the previous version, but it was wired, and you had to be plugged in, so it had to be connected to this game DAC, which was a control box, which was then connected to your PC, and then you could go into Windows Sound Settings and set it to 24-bit 96 kilohertz audio. High-res audio surprisingly makes quite a big difference to the gaming experience. It opens it up, gives you a wider range of audio, makes the sound crisper, delivers better positional audio. It just gives you a much better experience. It's one of those things that you have to really experience for yourself in order to appreciate. After SteelSeries did that, other brands copied and followed suit. Corsair did the Virtuoso, which also had high-res audio. That was also excellent for that. And there were other brands that also did similar, but you often had to be wired for it. SteelSeries with the Nova Elites has now made it possible to have wireless high-res audio. So this is actually running at 96 kilohertz 24-bit audio, and that's immediately obvious when playing games. So to be free of wires but still have that high-res audio is fantastic. A number of other things that struck me immediately, bearing in mind that I've been using the Nova Pro Wireless basically exclusively when I'm not reviewing other headsets, is a few different things. The passive and active noise cancellation on this headset is superior to the Nova Pro Wireless. The cushioning has been changed on the ear cups, which means a better seal over the ear, which means It's comfortable in strong clamping force, but it is comfortable, and it blocks out a lot of the surrounding noise. With the active noise cancellation improvement as well, combine those two things, basically can't hear what's going on in the real world, which drives my wife up the wall because she's always complaining at me because I can't hear her when she's talking to me, or she's shouting from downstairs. I missed the doorbell a couple of times and other things, but I also can't hear robot vacuum when it goes out. I can't hear things complaining. I can't hear passing traffic. I can't hear the fan noise from my PC. It's glorious. Downside is I did feel like the active noise cancellation and the passive is so good that sometimes if something is going on and nothing's playing on the computer, I'm not talking, so I'm not recording and mic monitoring, I feel like I can hear my own blood pumping through my veins and the anguish of my own inner demons just in my brain, just giving me grief. I feel like that you can really focus on that more, so you can really sort of just focus inwards. For gaming purposes, it's epic because you're just focusing on the game and you're not hearing any distractions from the outer world. But if you're sitting there with nothing playing and just the active noise cancellation on, it's quite alarming in how much it makes you sort of think about your life choices or whatever else. Silly, I know, but that's how it feels. Initially, the clamping force is a little bit stronger as well, so I feel like it's pushing on my glasses more than the Nova Pro Wireless did. I spoke to SteelSeries about this. They said it will loosen over time, so you probably won't notice that quite so much. It's not uncomfortable, but I just feel like it's pressing up against there. So there are some downsides. The massive upsides of the Nova Elite that is a step up from the Nova Pro Wireless, but also similar, is that the replaceable battery system. So if you don't know already, if you just take the earcup off, there's a battery underneath there. And in the base station that comes with it, there's another battery. So it's what they call an infinite battery system. Essentially, you can just pop that battery out, put it in the charger, and take the charger one and put it in there, which means you never have to plug them in, which has always been a massive selling point for me for the Nova Pro Wireless, and before that for the Arctis Pro Wireless. And it's not something that other brands do. Wireless headsets, you either have to use a base station to charge it, or you have to plug a cable in. If you have to use a base station, that means if you run out mid-gaming session, you've got to take your headset off and just give up gaming, or you have to plug a cable in. With the Nova Pro Wireless and with the Nova Elites, just swap the batteries over, and then you just keep playing. And if you're quick enough at doing it, it'll just keep doing it anyway. You just keep on gaming. There's a little bit of time, so if you take too long doing it, the headset will turn off. But if you manage to swap them over quick enough, it'll recognize the new batteries, and then it's no problem. You can carry on gaming. That's fantastic. With the Nova Elite, they've also added more connectivity to the base station. So there's 3 USB ports now. And the claim is that you can have 4 devices all playing at once, which means 2 USB connections. So let's say PC and console, whether it's a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Switch as an example. And you can have Bluetooth connectivity, and you can have a 3.5mm jack. Now for me, the 3.5mm is very good because I'm currently mic monitoring this. So what I do is I connect my SteelSeries headset to the Rode Streamer X via a 3.5mm jack. So I then basically have that connectivity so that I can wirelessly mic monitor, but I can also record all those things with OBS, capture all that audio, virtual audio channels, and use SteelSeries Sonar to split those up and then edit them in Resolve or whatever else and have control over all that stuff through the hardware for an XLR microphone. So that's really good. But you can also connect your phone, have Bluetooth connectivity, so I can have Spotify on my phone, play music through Bluetooth while also being on the PC and playing games. And that way, the Bluetooth audio from the music is not being recorded in OBS because that's separate. And therefore, there's no worry about copyright strikes or anything like that if you're recording gameplay clips, because you can hear the audio, but your audience can't, or your recordings won't pick it up. So that's really handy. Also, with that Bluetooth connectivity on the Nova Elites, you have that high-res audio, So if you use Tidal, for example, you can make the most of the 96 kilohertz over Bluetooth, listening to high quality audio on the headphones as well. Even with Spotify, I've noticed it just sounds better. And that's another thing. So the ANC is better, the passive noise cancellation is better, but the audio quality is noticeably better. It just has a better quality in a number of different ways. The other thing that's been improved is this. So let's just move this microphone out of the way, and then you can hear the standard mic on the headset. So this is obviously boom arm microphone, and actually SteelSeries has got a video showing how this has better noise cancellation out of the box as standard as well. So even without software, so you don't have to run it through SteelSeries Sonar, it actually eliminates a lot of background noise, and they showed it by getting in a helicopter and then recording it. I'll link to that video because it's pretty cool. Well, basically gives you excellent noise cancellation. I'm going to do some tests to show it on the proper review, but then you can retract it. And it's got these beamforming microphones, so it's actually still recording with microphones that are built into the earcups. The idea being that if you're out and about on a walk or whatever and you have a phone call, you can use that. But then when you're at home, you can just pull the beamforming and you can pull the boom arm microphone out, and you obviously get better quality that way. Not as good as an XLR microphone, obviously, but still very good. And if you don't want to use that, you can just nestle it away and then mute it. So it's now muted. And you see there's a red light to indicate that on there. And then you can go back to using your XLR microphone. So pretty excellent in loads of different ways already. It has obviously this colorway. There's a black version, and then there's this sage and gold one. So it's got quite a different style to it. It's quite different looking, but otherwise very nice. Plush ear cushions, very comfortable. Nice headband, extendable. So this extends quite nicely in terms of length. Loads of different connectivity options with USB. Obviously, as I said, it will work with iPhone, Android. They've given options for tablets, Switch, Mac, Xbox, PlayStation. You can do PC. On PC, it's superior because you've got the 96 kilohertz, and you can download Sonar, and I love Sonar. It's very powerful software. I'll link to my video on that in the description, but you could do loads of things with Sonar as well. And you've got loads of sound profiles for different games in there, for example, that you can put on for this headset. The other thing is it can be controlled via the app on your phone as well, so you can adjust things in there. There's loads of things going on with this headset. Now, it is very expensive. Is it worth the £600 or $600? That really depends on how much money you've got, frankly, and how much you like SteelSeries products in the first place. Is it worth paying the £600 to upgrade if you've already got the Nova Pro wireless? Maybe not. If you're a massive fanboy, or if you've always wanted the 96 kilohertz but don't want to go wired, then yes. But the tweaks are pretty subtle, so there's a number of very subtle tweaks that make quite a difference. If you want the cream of the crop, the very best headset with all those different features, great sound, infinite battery system, loads of different input options, excellent microphone, and all those other things, then yes, this is definitely it, in my opinion. I'm sure people will disagree with me and say the Maxwell's superior. I've used the Maxwell. I don't think it's superior. I do think it's good. It's not superior. I've tested a lot of other headsets. Check out my reviews playlist for the headset reviews I've done in the past if you want to see. But overall, features-wise, all the different things I've talked about, Nova Elites are epic. You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.